Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Bring It Back. This being a show where I talk about TV shows that were canceled and or short-lived that I would like to see get brought back in some shape or form. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the reboot/continuation series Quantum Leap. I'm specifically talking about that because I've never seen the original 1989 series, but either way, really quickly, if you're unfamiliar with Quantum Leap is about, it's basically, the reboot is about, hey, this is a guy named Ben Song. He's a scientist. I don't know what Ben's actual position was. I'm actually blanking on it right now. But either way, like he had very smart dude. He's part of like a military program that was bringing back the Quantum Leap program. Basically, there's a guy named Sam back in the 80s who was a part of this project and got sent through time. Basically, how time travel works in this series is when you're time traveling, basically your mind ends up in the body of a different person. And it's basically about like, okay, you're living this person's life, like something's going wrong time-wise, and it's up to you to kind of change things for the better. And to everyone else that sees you, all they see is that person, but it's really you inside of them. And it, like, obviously you leap. That's where the show comes from. Like, you're leaping through time. You leap from body to body, time to time. And that's the general concept. In the original series, it's about, hey, Sam is stuck in time. We got to find a way. Try and leap through all these different adventures, setting time right, and so that he can finally find his way back home. Basically, we have that again with Ben, who, because like this project was shut down because Sam was lost to time forever, and so now, or at least appeared to have been lost to time forever, and now Ben's in a similar circumstance. It actually even wasn't supposed to be him that was supposed to be doing the leaping. It was actually someone else. It was actually supposed to be his fiance, Addison, but either way, it's about this team, the Quantum Leap team, doing everything they can to support Ben, like give him the info about what he needs to change, what history was, what it needs to be, and you know what he needs to change, because if he doesn't resolve each leap, he can't leap to the next leap. And so that's what it's a very neat time travel story. Like, as you know, I'm a big fan of time travel, and it's very like episodical, like a time travel adventure of the week. It's not a one-to-one, because obviously, like I was about to say, like it's very Doctor Who-ish in a lot of ways, where it's like, right, that's very time travel adventure of the week. Obviously, it's not as like fantastical. It's very grounded of like, right, this is just throughout time of it. I think the show allegates it to like, it's specifically the time that you've existed from, like you being born till now. That's typically, you could end up any year in that time frame, but you won't go like some crazy thing in the past. There's story elements that kind of tie into some of that stuff. But yeah, that's the general concept behind the show if you've never seen it. Like I said, it was like a fun show that had like, it was fun, but it was also very dramatic and told some very interesting stories. As I brought up, it is a continuation of the original 80s series that got canceled in, what, 93, maybe 94. And so, yeah, this was, like I said, a continuation of that story, because they even acknowledge, like, hey, like, Sam went through his adventures. That's why this project got shut down, and now we're restarting again. Well, sad news recently, well, not even recently, because I'm getting to this late, but obviously news came out like maybe almost 2 months ago that the show was sadly canceled after 2 seasons, which is such a bummer, because it's also the element of, well, the original series got canceled and didn't have a proper ending, at least to my understanding, just because, well, they kind of referenced like they never got a proper ending, because like the show references, oh, Sam's kind of lost the time. He never found his way back home in these 30+ years in between the original series and this reboot/continuation. It's such a bummer, because I really thoroughly enjoyed the show. Probably wasn't everyone's cup of tea. Once again, I don't give 100% stock to reviews and stuff. Once again, like, people not enjoying something, that's 100% them. I enjoyed it, so I don't care. I'm just like, yeah, I enjoy it. Other people didn't. That's fine too. But I think it had its audience. But I think probably just at the end of the day, just not enough people watched it. And I won't spoil it, but the show ends in such an interesting spot where it's like, you could end the show there, but it's also like what it would have meant for season 3. Like, there were different plans for season 3, because it would have changed the dynamic of the show, and I would have loved to have been able to see that. Like, this is a show, like, I wish it had gotten like maybe like a full 5-season run, because I believe the original show was 5 seasons. Once again, it was canceled. It didn't like end, it was canceled. So that's why it's also doubly sad, because it's like, oh, the original show got canceled and the reboot/continuation also got canceled. So it's like, I wish it had been able to kind of see things to its proper conclusion. I would have just loved to have, you know, I think like even if the show had got maybe 4 seasons, I feel like season 3 wouldn't have been the end, just because like, but there's a new dynamic where it's like, it would have been nice to be able to see that, you know, and it's sad that we don't get that opportunity. But it was just like such a fun time travel show, and I'm just kind of bummed that it got canceled. it being in a situation that is in, it was on NBC. I don't see that ending up anywhere else. You never know. Someone could be like, oh, let's buy the rights to this and put it up here. Oh, it's doing really well. Well, we'll bring it back. Once again, the go-to is always like a Netflix, maybe a Prime Video, but I don't see anyone doing that. At least I haven't looked too deeply into it, but it just doesn't feel like it's one of those shows that would have that opportunity. But you never know. Fingers crossed, hoping, but it just seems super unlikely at this point. It's not even like a thing of, they could always go the timeless route, which, is an example I always use because it's also an NBC time travel show. That show was like canceled and then uncanceled and canceled again, and then they brought it back to basically end it with like a 2-hour movie. You could, but it would just be such a disservice. But like, it's kind of like timeless, where it's like you could wrap that up in a movie, but like where the story of where season 2 ends, you could. I'd rather not. I'd rather have a full season. Really, I'd rather have like a 3 and 4, at least a bare minimum 4. If you could squeeze, if you're able to, I would have loved to gotten to season 5, but yeah, I just wanted the show to kind of end on its own terms. I always want any show that I like to end on its own terms, but it's like the show's in such an interesting spot because of its ending for season 2. You're like, there's definitely more story to tell, but it ends in such a spot where you're almost like, it's, if you're left with kind of like oh, that's a bummer, like this is all we get, it's still nicer than some other shows that they get left, when they get canceled. So the show's in an interesting spot where I'm satisfied enough, but obviously I still want so much more. But, and like I said, I just think it's so unlikely that the show could end up anywhere else, especially with all the time that's going by. I haven't seen any updates recently. But once again, you never know what's happening behind the scenes. But yeah, but really that's all I wanted to talk about. So the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.